All right, folks. So that's that guy. Well, we're talking about dumbass motherfuckers, though. So the Bad Faith podcast featuring Virgil Texas, who, rest in peace, put out a very interesting clip here. This is Briahna Joy Gray's advertisement tweet. AOC took blah, 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 blah. It's just quoting Paula Jean Swearengin. The ketchup queen, we all remember Paula Jean, the ketchup queen, was going on ranting and raving last year about how AOC was actually an undercover, she was like, AOC is actually like undercover boss. She secretly owns a restaurant, but has been trying to cover that up while she runs for Congress as a bartender. She actually secretly owned the restaurant. Actually, she was a secret part owner, except that didn't end up being true. But that's what Paula Jean was saying. In between, I don't know what kind of drugs she was on, but she was on some really interesting drugs. And she would stay up until 4 a.m. talking about ketchup and making that. Does anyone remember that? Can we just have, before we get into this, this clip, can we just actually have a goddamn moment where we remember that Paula Jean was at 4 a.m. tweeting about ketchup packets? Does anyone, that actually happened? But anyway, I made videos of that. Go watch it. But anyway, so AOC, again, just like with Jackson Hinkle, just like with Jimmy Dore, they are marching in lockstep with the Biden administration. They are literally arms linked with Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the corporate Democrats. They are criticizing the squad in very destructive ways. Now, again, you can criticize the squad all you want. You can say electoral politics will not save us. I agree with all those things. But these criticisms of the squad are so ridiculous, so specific, and so lacking in context. Again, the only material effect of this is that the squad has less power and the corporate Democrats get more power. Look what they did to Nina Turner. Now, am I going to say that the forced to vote weirdos changed the election so that Nina Turner lost? No, not at all, because I'm not a fucking delusional fuckwit. These people have very little power. But their role in the political machine is to demobilize the left and to reduce the power of the left, to reduce solidarity. Reminder, Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign slogan, solidarity forever. That is the exact opposite of what these people do. Now, they claim to be super left, but when you ask them about things oh, why don't you do mutual aid or direct action or whatever, they usually don't really want to talk about that. But anyway, let's keep watching. So by keep watching, I mean start watching. Here's Paula Jean Swearengin with another reason why the squad are actually sellouts. Let's watch.
Do you think an independent could win in West Virginia?
If we built the infrastructure, they had the support, I do. Right now, I won't run for office again. I joined the People's Party, but I will not run for office again and take people's dollars. People sacrifice millions of Americans.
So what she's doing is basically saying, I'm not going to run for office, and anyone who does run for office is a scammer and a fraud. Now, okay, if you want to present an alternative where it's I'm going to focus all my work on direct action and mutual aid and local organizing, and we're going to basically create dual power in this country so that the government is, we don't need the government to survive. Imagine if we could feed ourselves. Imagine if we created a giant food program like the Black Panthers did, right, where we could feed all of our families, all of our friends, all of our children without any need for the government. Imagine if we were able to decouple things like housing from having to work for a corporation. That would be great. But again, is she going to do that? Let's watch.
For so-called grassroots campaigns, and I think that the progressive label has been co-opted by a lot of these corporate candidates. But a lot of people gave up a lot of their time. Millions of Americans did. They gave up their money. They gave up their, their lunch, their bill money to fight for candidates that now some of them are elected and they're not fighting for us.
There's a lot of people on the left who really felt...
Many people are saying, there's a lot of people on the left. So many people. I think I would be remiss if I didn't, real quick, remind everyone of Briahna Joy Gray from approximately 1 year ago saying some very interesting things. Let's watch. Let's listen.
Sam, if I could just get this sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
I'm sorry. That one will never not be funny, but let's continue.
That way and believe strongly that electing the squad members and the squad adjacent folks would be that change and make that difference. And we're very inspired by people like Corey.
So again, the idea that anyone would actually think that electing 1 or 2 or 5 or 6 people in a chamber that has 535 members, the idea that having 6 people, right, out of 535 or 7 out of 535 is going to change anything, in order to believe that, you have to be fucking delusional. You have to be a dumb, shit for brains, asshole fuckface. But guess what? I've got good news. No one actually thought that. Except for people like Briahna Joy Gray and Paula Swearengin, who want to pretend and gaslight people into thinking that, oh, well, they didn't basically fix the world's problems with no power whatsoever, so they're fake. They're frauds. Now, again, if you want to say that, AOC voting present on the Iron Dome or whatever was cringy, I agree with you. If you want to criticize the squad on specific things and say that they should be doing certain, I agree with that. But again, to say that they're sellouts or, that they're fraud squad or they're corrupt is just so fucking stupid. Again, 7 out of 535. If it was 70, maybe we could start having this conversation. If it were 100, maybe we could start having this conversation. But it's not. It's like about 1%. If that, it's like less than 1%. Of people in Congress that are actual human beings, and it's not like, what is AOC going to get elected and then punch in the cheat codes in the Library of Congress and then everyone's going to have God mode activated and all of our health bills will go away? What were they thinking? Seriously, I genuinely ask you, because what I was thinking when it comes to electing people that are good, like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Cori Bush, etc., right? I'm thinking, people that are left-wing and gonna, they're gonna have power over messaging. They're gonna be able to go into the halls of Congress and talk about things like the Green New Deal, Medicare for all, how these things are important. They're gonna be able to elevate people, real people's stories, right? So that people understand what's going on. They're gonna go on television and they're gonna talk. That's what their job is. They literally have no power when it comes to passing legislation. But anyway, let's continue.
Bush, who has this amazing personal story and was living in her car, and seemed to have a closeness to the precarity that so many Americans experience, and really hoped that would translate meaningfully, especially given the narrow margins in the House and how much power a small group of progressives have to hold up.
Again, what power? What power? How much? This weirdo fucking fantasy conspiracy theory that, again, is called Force the Vote. This conspiracy theory started, you can trace the origins a long time ago, but the main branch of this conspiracy network started in December of 2020 when Jimmy Dore and Briahna Joy Gray, again, I have to play the clip again, said that it doesn't matter if Jimmy Dore killed 15 kids, she would still be addicted to the conspiracy theory behind Force the Vote. But the fundamentals around that conspiracy is that 6 members of the House of Representatives have all the power. Well, guess what? Remember when the BIF, the bipartisan infrastructure package, was being sent to the House, right? And the Progressive Caucus mostly voted for it except for the Squad, right? Guess what happened? 6 people voted against the BIF. How did it pass, you might wonder? Oh, right, because the Republicans crossed over. Hello? It's the small margins give the Squad infinite power. Huh? If that were the case, how the fuck did the BIF get passed? Because it was bipartisan. They knew that the Squad wouldn't go along, so they had enough Republicans to cover the votes. I really, what the fuck are they talking about? Now, again, if you want to talk about how they can use their power to hold up, Democratic Party messaging or something, I agree. They can do that. If you want to say that they should force votes on things like Medicare for all in ways that they can, just to show that Democrats are against Medicare for all, and then use that as a marketing campaign, a messaging campaign, I agree. That's all well and good. But to claim that they've got some mystical fucking power, they've got some mystical goddamn otherworldly power, they're fucking like mages sent from a fucking fantasy land where they can wave their fucking staff and then the fucking dragons will come out of the sky and snatch up Joe Manchin. What the fuck? But let's continue.
Any legislative agenda the same way that Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema are exercising that.
They literally think, these dumb fuck shit for brains assholes like Briahna Joy Gray literally think Manchin and Sinema have as much or less power than the Squad. Really? Really? Do you want to know why Manchin and Sinema have as much power as they do? Why? Well, because Joe Biden actually agrees with them. First of all, Joe Biden and Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are all on the same fucking team. But you know what else? You know who else is on those teams? On that team? The fucking big corporations and big donor classes in this country. That's who else is on the fucking team. That's why fucking Manchin and Sinema have so much power. It's not because, oh, they're two in a gridlocked Senate. No, it's because the fucking the corporations and the donors are on their fucking team. So they get to manufacture the whole narrative. The president's on their team. If the president and the squad were really on the same team, the president wouldn't have gone from fucking 3.5 trillion down to 1.75. That wouldn't have happened if the squad and the president were on the same team. But guess what? They're not. And the squad is on their own against the corporate donors. But Bree is just giving free talking points to the corporate donors. Now, again, am I saying that the squad can't be criticized? That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you're going to criticize them, be intelligent with your fucking criticism. This Fantasyland conspiracy garbage doesn't do anything. It's fucking loser shit. It's fucking like what? What, you really think like one single or six like fucking politicians are gonna save us? Like, again, like the dragons, like it's like they're fucking, they find the secret Dragon Balls or something, and then they fucking get Shenron down here, and they're gonna grant us the fucking wishes that, like, what the fuck are they thinking? Like, do they not understand why the fuck Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin have so much power? Do they really not know anything about fucking corporations and big donors? Like, are they pretending to be dumb? Like, what the fuck are they on about?
In the Senate.
Holy shit.
And
fuck.
I wonder what you make of how they've done so far and some of the criticism that they've received now that they've been in office for 4 years.
Oh, one thing about Joe Manchin, I want to say, he's fallen into the rotating villain narrative. Mm-hmm. It's not been any secret, even back.
Now, I agree with this thing. The idea that Joe Manchin being a corporate stooge is a shocker to anybody is ridiculous, right? But so I agree with this part.
When Joe Manchin was a delegate, that he's been corrupt, and he's not a people servant, he's a corporate servant. And as far as the squad goes, Cori Bush is a wonderful woman. I've always loved her. But I wonder what's going on. We were promised.
Like, I wonder what's going on. What? What does that mean? I wonder what's going on. Like, is that like, oh, like my fucking BFF hasn't called me back in like 3 weeks. I wonder what's going on. Like what? I wonder what's going on. Me too.
That they would go in and bust the halls of Congress wide open, and they would be strong advocates still.
Okay, so we were promised that they would go to Congress and bust the halls wide open. Well, that's obviously a metaphor, right? So what does that mean? They would be a strong advocate for Medicare for all.
Medicare for all. A living wage. And, they've pulled back from that.
They haven't, though. When have they pulled back from that? That's what I'm asking. Literally, I have never, and I pay attention to politics. Maybe there's secret clips that they've got in their circles that I don't have access to. I would love that information. I have never seen Cori Bush use language like, oh, we need to have access to affordable health care. She's never said that. She is a staunch Medicare for all supporter. Does that mean, but I went to the doctor the other day and we don't have Medicare for all. Well, someone in Missouri voted for Cori Bush. I should have Medicare for all, right? That's how it works, right? That's the world Paula Jean and fucking Briahna Joy Gray want to tell you. That's it. Their fucking fantasy world, and where the mages fall from the sky and the Dragon Balls are real. Like what? Like, they haven't.
She took grassroots money with her grassroots PAC and gave it to corporate candidates.
Like, now that's another weirdo conspiracy theory here. So the what they're saying is AOC took your money and gave it to corporate candidates. In reality, what she did was she did her like party dues or whatever the fuck, like in order to be a member of a party. And yes, it's stupid, and yes, we can criticize that structure. But what she did is she's trying to build power within the Democratic Party. So she basically what she did is she said, I'm not going to pay the party dues to like Nancy Pelosi's little fund or whatever. I'm going to do it separately to the party itself. There was like this big machination around it. But anyway, she did not give her money to like fucking Nancy Pelosi's personal campaign. That is not what happened. That's just not what happened, right? So what she's doing is she's trying to buy influence within the Democratic Party. Now, again, you can criticize that. That's fine, right? But to say that she's like funneling grassroots money to corporations is just factually wrong. That's not what happened. She is paying party dues. That's a completely separate thing. Like, I don't know what if the argument is like she should become independent or something, then I'll listen, or she should defect to the People's Party. Okay, I'll listen to that argument. But again, she is not secretly funneling money to like fucking like Henry Cuellar or some shit. Like, that's not happening. Like, that's just not happening, right? It's just not happening. But again, in their conspiracy world, that is happening. She's a secret stooge to like send money to like the corporations. She's stealing workers' money to send to fucking Big Pharma or something in the Paula Jean world. Now, again, another thing, if I'm donating to a political candidate, I already know that money is going to be used on electoral politics, right? I'm not donating to AOC hoping that AOC is going to send that money that I donated to her to a strike fund. If I want to donate to a strike fund, if I want my money to go to a strike fund, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to donate to a fucking strike fund. If I want my money to go to a local tenant union to like help, pay rent or something, that's what I'm going to give my money to. I'm not going to give my money to AOC and then have her hope that she will splash the money on an abortion relief program. No, if I want to support that, I'll support that directly. When you give money to AOC, guess what she's going to use that for? She's going to use that for electoral politics, and that's exactly what she fucking did. So this idea that AOC is like secretly what the fuck are they talking about, man?
People that did give up their lunch money.
And if you're skipping lunch to give AOC $2, I don't like. That to me is a little weird.
People that did work hard for her. People that did take their bill money and give it to her, she turned it around and gave it to people that she's supposed to fight against.
That's just, again, that's not true. She is lying to you. Paula Jean is either a dumb motherfucker or Briahna Joy Gray is a dumb motherfucker, or they're lying to you. One or two of these people has to be lying to you. There's no way, because I know Briahna Joy Gray is not that stupid. I know she's not that stupid, right? So I'm not sure. Paula Jean might actually be that stupid. It's very possible. But again, this fantasy narrative that AOC is funneling money into corporate candidates is just wrong. It's fantasy.
Yes. I don't know what's going on with them. I wish that we could get answers, but this is not what we were promised. And this is why people feel so discouraged right now with this so-called movement, because millions of Americans gave up their time and money, and now we're all facing the disappointment of people making promises, and once they got there, they're not doing their jobs.
So I don't know what to tell you, but I have been following AOC's candidacy since she debated Joe Crowley. That's like a couple nights, I think maybe a week before she debated Joe Crowley on television was when I first heard of her. And I followed her ever since very extensively. And I can tell you, at no fucking point ever did she promise she was going to go in and get us Medicare for all instantly. That never happened. I was, maybe there was a secret clip that I fucking missed, like a secret clip where she was talking to Paula Jean or something, and she was like, yep, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to pull the secret book in the Library of Congress, and then the whole fucking wall is going to open up, and then I'm going to find the Black Star Dragon Balls, and then Shenron, the red Shenron's going to come down and give me a fucking wish, and then they're going to scatter across the planets. I didn't see that clip, so unless you want to show me that clip, the only thing I can deduce here is that Paula Jean, or both Briahna Joy Gray and Paula Jean, are fucking batshit insane, or they're lying to you, because none of that happened. Now, again, you can criticize them and say that they should be doing more, they should be doing this and that, and that's fine, and we should criticize them. But to say that they're frauds, or they're corrupt, or they're funneling money to corporate candidates, it's just wrong. It's not real. It's fake. It's literally fake news. It's fantasy land. I've got plenty of criticisms of AOC and Cori Bush, none of which are related to them being Democratic Party politicians. I don't know what the hell. But, these people are obviously on some sort of drug, and my only request is, can you fucking pass that shit? Because goddamn,